Evil Squid Comics podcast. We are part of the Collector's Maze Network.
Don.
Scott.
Andrew. All right, Sheriff of Babylon.
Yes, from Tom King. The
And
Fog of
Mitch
War.
Mitch Gerard.
Gerard.
There you go. There you go.
Are you a Tom King fan?
I used to be.
I tend
But
to.
this was like his early stuff.
It
too.
was.
This is like one of the first things he did.
I tend to like. I think he's a good writer. Let me put it that way.
Thought he was.
You thought he was? You don't think so anymore?
Well, I liked the first 2 or 3 things he did, but I feel like all his stuff is starting to feel very same. Like
I could
feel
see
like
that.
I feel like he's not really got anything new or interesting to say. He just kind of keeps saying the same thing, and so I don't feel there's enough.
Is that really a bad thing?
It can be because I feel like the quality, like every book, is like less interesting than the last one. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, all right. What do you think of this one? Because this was one of his first books, I think, or his.
I think so.
Well, so with Sheriff of Babylon, it's talking about, some of the time there after 9/11 and, we were fighting in Afghanistan and things.
Yes.
And so, of course, there's a lot of unrest there and
But you
people
said
not
Afghanistan.
trusting.
It's actually Iraq, right?
Oh, is it Iraq? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that's the thing. It's like, which war is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. But
So
yeah, I
there
think
is
it's
a little bit
actually
of that.
after the Iraq war where we kicked out Saddam and we were trying to rebuild.
So it's
Well, not-
before 9/11?
I
Okay,
think
that
so.
is odd then. Because
I think it's
because
because the introduction he talks about how 9/11 he went into the.
Right, the CIA and things
Yeah.
of this nature. But then I thought when he was talking about that these stories, while we're taking some of the ideas that he
No,
had from
because it
there
says Baghdad, Iraq, the
Okay.
American controlled green zone, February 2004.
in 2004. Oh my God, hell! If I
Well,
even
actually, it
pay
was after
attention.
9/11 because
So-
didn't we blame Saddam Hussein for 9/11?
Well, yeah, so 2004 because
Yeah.
9/11 happened 2001.
Yeah,
so it is after.
yeah, it's after
9/11.
9/11.
Yeah.
Is it story hour?
Yeah.
Yes.
yes,
It's
yes.
2004.
Yes.
So we've taken over Iraq. And
Yes.
we've got people there, and we're kind of like being peacekeepers now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the gist. Of
The
it.
gist of it,
Yeah.
but yes, anyway, we needed to blame somebody, so we go over to Iraq, I guess, in this case. We're, trying to do things there, and we're trying to set them up with a police force and democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, really this whole story centers on 3 characters. U.S. white guy, that's over there, that's just trying to make it a better place, by teaching them a police. Then you've got a gentleman that used to be a detective or part of their police force, but then his daughters got killed in some of this mess, and he's just trying to make his way, with all the damn different factions that are going on there and trying to do what he can to stay alive. And then you've got this other girl whose parents got murdered in some weird way. I think she was part of kind of like the higher, or her parents were part of, or her dad was part of like the ruling area with Saddam and things at the time. And then of course she was pretty much like kind of blacklisted. And when all this shit went down, and anybody that knew Saddam was getting themselves killed, she happened to be in the U.S. at the time for schooling, and so she was actually saved compared to the rest of her family. But yet she still holds grudges, would like some revenge there. From the powers that be. But she's kind of like this intermediary between the U.S. and Iraq. And so she can play both sides, to whatever her, end goals are. So with that, having said that, that's kind of the overall setup, and it's kind of how these 3 people, lives interact and how they cross over with each other. The different backstabbing that is going on, how when they try to, just the effects of war, I think in general, when you're trying to either save certain people and you can't, or, the other bad guys, are in there and you can't really pin them down, or trying to play the politics as well when that doesn't work very well, and the politics are backstabbing each other and using you for whatever to their own end goals. There's all a little bit of that in there. So with that, it can get pretty wordy, I think, in some spots. But then on the other side, you get several panels where it's just like quick, things going on. It is almost like this kind of war-torn slice of life, period, that they're doing things. With that, I feel like kind of the pacing maybe, or just something can be a little up and down, because of the fact that it's read, and then trying to keep up with who's trying to backstab who and who's trying to make deals with who. And then all of a sudden, a little bit of battle, happens, somebody dies or whatever dies, and then just trying to, I I had probably a harder time of keeping track of certain people or names that were going on there than I did in something else that we read, you know. And at the end of the day, there's not that many characters. It was just that in some cases, I was like, who is that one? Oh, okay, they're talking about that person there or whatever. It's not like it's artfully confusing. I mean, the art is good enough that you can figure out what's going to happen. And there is those moments of, oh, God, you know, just tragedy, you know, type stuff that happens where you're like, but it's war. So, you know, it is somewhat to be expected too.
There's no war going on.
It's just not it's not a very happy book by any means.
Oh, no.
Stretch of, you know, but it is trying to be a little bit more of that kind of truthful, dirty, you know, aspect of life.
Yeah, it's pretty complex. Kind of a lot of tragedy, right? Like, kind of see the horrible war. Like, I know it was Iraq, but it has, like, of the Vietnam movies I've seen, it almost feels more like a Vietnam kind of. You got, like, kids getting killed. You got, like, you know,
mothers getting killed.
You got Americans killing their own troops, type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's just kind of all over the Wild West, man.
You do have a little
chaos.
bit of a trigger happy type of thing, but I mean, in some cases, it's warranted because kids are showing up with bombs and whatever. So the trust is very difficult there.
But no, it was a rough read. It was weird. I was reading it, and like about halfway through, I'm like, this is just grinding. I'm not really enjoying this, you know. But then by the second half, it starts to kind of pick up, like the plot kind of.
Well, you start figuring out a little bit, and you're figuring out how these characters kind of interact with each other too, and kind of, you know, some of that backstories, and figuring that your three main ones. You know, at least the two guys kind of have a certain amount of that you want to root for them, I guess.
Yeah.
The female, you do, but you do feel like you can never really totally trust her, though, either, because I'm never really real sure.
She's always playing both sides a little bit.
She is, exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah. She's kind of sort of making a power grab.
I feel like that.
But anyway, no, I mean, it was okay. Like I say, it's not my favorite Tom. It's not my least favorite.
What's your least favorite?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Just was curious. I mean, you said that.
I didn't really care for that Batman 1960s book he did or whatever. Gotham something. Gotham Year One, I think it was. That was to be fair, I only read Tom King like self-contained stuff. I've never read like his Batman run.
Right. Okay.
But I really liked Mr. Miracle. I really liked Adam Strange. I did like Human Target.
Yeah, but part of the thing with Human Target.
Yeah, if Smallwood hadn't done that art, I don't know that I would like the book as much.
I know.
And then I read the first half of that book I talked about. It was nothing. So I kind of feel like he's running out of ideas.
Okay, that's possible.
This one, I mean, it definitely had some merit, but I also felt it was missing something.
I would agree. I'm not entirely sure what it was missing, but it definitely did not grab and hold.
Yeah.
It was an okay read, and it was something that was different in there. But I don't know if it's something I would have picked up anyway to really read, and I don't know that it's something I would really. In fact, I know it's not so visit.